All right, so thanks again for coming, and I'll read a few poems from this book, Uncanny Valley, and then some other ones as well. So these will all be the short ones from the book here. Short being generally a page or less. I tend to stretch over multiple pages a lot in the book. And I'll be doing that later with my newer poems. So these are the standalones. You get the idea. Okay. I'll start with this one here called Killing Flies Skyscraper Figurine. Not sky blue or powder blue or baby blue or robin's egg blue. The thought of killing flies starts to be written in you. In what blue are its mirrors, and what girders right in its shadow down, and reflected whose mirror reflects them? A tiny friend of me who looks like me, or rolls back the rolling contours of the lens? Or not lens, the contours are wrapped around a lens of the contours wrapped around? Write down all their deaths, slam the flesh of his hands together, a deified sound, a thunderbolt. To whom and under what blue? What light wrapped around the lens, the girders wrapped around a lens of the girders wrapped around a lens of the girders wrapped around? And this is how I should feel. No, listen. No, never listen. No, pause and listen. And never, never listen. No, these dots before my eyes and in my eyes should feel, should. Clock is the name of this one. Is this cuckoo gliding backwards into its clock what I look like to the cuckoo gliding backwards into its clock, or what the cuckoo gliding backwards into its clock looks like to the cuckoo gliding backwards into its clock? Learn a language and die. Night cuckoo separates life from death. Night cuckoo, learn a language. To chant is a cyclops into chant is a cyclops in. To change in a cyclops is to change in a cyclops is. And die, hugged in a wing hug, held gliding backwards into its clock. You'll be alone someday. I've written elsewhere about crystal structure. I've written elsewhere about flower structure and caution, and I've written on basic bravery in flower structures. I've written in confusion, instances of dyslexia among our basic flowers. I've studied the structure of simple flowers, improving a guidebook of basic flowers, decisions of basic flower structure, and basically one decision systems. I've written extensively on this elsewhere. For me, it is a primary passion, the daisy, the raspberry flower. I've grown into a study of the less intricate flowers. I've seen the end of flowers. I've matched up diagrams. The flowers match up with the diagrams. I think I like the simple flowers the best. When it rains, don't set the camera flash to on. Blue daisies, white daisies, buttercups, these are clover flowers which are idiot simple when abstracted. These have never been presented in this way. They've been frozen in liquid nitrogen, but they are as simple as live flowers. But the subject will be blistered over. These aren't the epiphytic baroque deep in the rainforest 30 feet overhead. These overflow the meadows. You can find lots of material on them. So those are the poems with the more tortured syntax. This one's more straightforward, and it's called Salamander. The janitor asked me how to pronounce the creature's name, and I said salamander for him. He looked at it on the screen, and I looked at him. Slide your legs into its tail, I said. I can't, he said as he did. Feed your guts there into its cavity of guts. I can't, he said, manifestly untrue because he did. Mash the thing's name and yours, I said, together into that irreversible whole I know you keep, and he did, and it broke over his face and flowed, water from the earth. I can't, he said. A word of introduction for the following poems. The following poems are instructions for movement games for one to any number of people, and it says in the poem for how many people. And you'll get the idea of what I mean by instructions for movement games from what I'm reading. They are also a commentary track for the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. And they are also poems. We don't have the movement games element or the movie element, so you'll have to make do with them as poems. But and there are some interludes in here as well. All right. For two players. You're wondering everything, and I am too. Discordant nonsense. I hate it. Move into the sunlight. Move and warm each other. Give each other a hug. Become consonant enough to travel forward and backward in time. It's okay. Nobody understands. Cause for yourselves a reason to do the things you're doing. Humans in gorilla suits. Fooling both/birth, fooling everybody. Has everyone seen 2001? It now occurs to me that that some amount of this is going to be lost for those who haven't seen the movie. Anyone feeling left out? Bless you. Okay. For 4 players, one must escape. The playing area rotates like a merry-go-round, except that it's oval in shape. The other 3 must not get away, but must mirror the actions of the first. A single straight line out will be found. This is peculiar. The vertical walls of the playing area, as in life, pull back as the secret camera pulls back. The high, pocked walls, which stand on nothing, till pox turn to jaguar spots. For one 4-limbed player, yes, something has died. One of those 4-legged grass munchers, making bones out of grasses, making desert of a boneheaded chaos grasses can neither speed up nor slow down. Suspended in a button made of a bone moment, he has only to press to light the iris forward. There. Once all that had happened, he could start making camera placements, which the narrative could start eating in the visual field. For 5 players or more. Yeah, beaten to death. Another all-consuming, they all consume moment. One of you stands still, not knowing what it means. The others create the periphery, the whole out of which, by jump cut and gnosis, the space program grows. Special effects put me to sleep. I can sleep there, in space. Easy game for a number of players equivalent to the number of people reading or hearing this. For 3 players, the stage is spoon-shaped. They call a meeting to interrogate the mystery, which pools in the middle of the stage. They're up to their ankles in it. Just wait. What if it turned into Heart of Darkness all of a sudden? Weird. The dialogue is arranged in a standing invitation. Come on, come and get me, the arrangement of cameras seems to say, on the far/our side, where none can get to them seemingly to shut them off. One of the players is the viewer, a spiky, bristly arrangement of old fisheye cameras, gushing freely, bending the stage. Climb upriver, salmon. Shut the madness off. Interlude on cameras and on how to film or how to shoot a turn-based game. Let some computer algorithm choose the shot, or let the computer's computer opponent choose. The opponent crunches the numbers. The number computer loves puns and makes a dumb pun out of the shot. Make the chessboard look like the checkered floor. Also, cut rapidly between humans' sweating brow and the Mona Lisa cutout taped to the computer, and make a pun on mainframe just by saying the word. Actually do what you, computer, want. I don't care. Umpteenth planet. It's not fair. Their heads are planets. For 3 players and a timpani. Oh, I get it. They affixed the camera to the set and rotated the set. Planetary motion has a lot to learn from this. Sort of. Like I said, not fair. Oh well, so weird. The light keeps coming in from different angles. Sharp angles. The planets start sharpening their own light. For 13 players, seat them around a horseshoe-shaped table and make one the speaker and center of attention, but shoo from some kind of robot horse demon, they say. Anyway, close in on him with each of the 12 other mental cameras. This keeps it from being announced. Oh God, end it. There, glad it's over. Scatter, all of you. Sing. Don't scatter too far. Sing with a cosmical partner held over the mouth. Fly the mouth to the horseshoe planet. For 2 players, you and me. I'm riveted as the earth circles the twin earth, and I call you again and again to mind. I look at the viewfinder to see what I'm doing. The dust dawns and the dust sets. There's the black slap again, the one that creates music and image and music. I'm ashamed that I fell asleep before you, and that I'm so riveted right now. For 1 player, stick a bulb on the end of the long stalk of the lyrical impulse. Now that's dumb looking. No, I guess it looks okay. Lord in heaven, it looks amazing. Lord in rotating cylindrical heaven with a camera following him around. Insert found footage of the back of God's head. Make the body a wheel, the wrong end of it. Eat the wheel, which you can't do. Eat heaven's trivialities, too. The end. The bulb's real feelings fall out the back engines. Conflicting musics, trivialities. Happy birthday, Benjamin. Thank you for a very enjoyable game. That last is the one line lifted from the movie after Hal beats, I think, Dave at chess. He says, thank you for a very enjoyable game. Hal the computer, for the people who haven't seen it. Interlude on casting light across a dancer's eyes. 2 of them. Make repairs. I wish I were watching this. The light, strewn like ejected pollen, repairs severed connections in the brain. Memory remembers dancing with you, within a pockmarked globe of light. The chain of her vertebrae fixed the window it eclipsed. For 3 players again. Open rectangle or open circular area. Gladiator area. Walled, no escape, no center. One-way barriers of spectators. Let it all float through that. It filters out a good percentage. Cameras replace the foul, faulty beach ball. For 2 players, sequester the pen where the pixel won't find it. Inside the barrel of words spoken just before intermission. Multiple instruments bowed, many per player, such that the notes are unbroken. I've never known coming back to music through music, aspatially, where to and why, hokum, garbage, I hate it, I decide to. Oh boy, then, spoiler, the 2 players are separated. Interlude on victory conditions, which are not always present. They are waiting there, just beyond, leaving a line vertically upon one, a smeared fingerprint. Your victory is the product of a love, which is the wrong word for the standoff and further away from it than love itself. A doorway's capstone where there is no doorway. The pretend meaning of victory conditions is in danger. You must remember by pretending to remember. Now, I must leave you both. For 1 player, my friend Brendan, if you had an attention span, you could make something like this happen. Knuckles in some kind of aluminum fitting, vacuum rushing in, eye icing over, around, around, around. It sees itself and faces off. It will never let loose the... For a large crowd, blink and be motionless, silent. Carry one of you off in 0 gravity. Your longtime friend and collaborator disappear into the distance. Clunky, cumbersome, ill-fitting, never isometric, never the floating world, except the voice coming from everywhere. For 3 players, the stage is spoon-shaped because the fisheye lens of the character, who is a camera, has warped the world, making circular cuts in the film where the linear cuts imagine themselves to be. What if it did turn into Heart of Darkness? Come on, come and get me. Yes, he has to. Climb upriver, salmon. Climb a gushing ladder, shut the madness off. Then, using the camera, look at what's left. For 3, when one shuts down the voice, another voice emerges. Eventually they all emerge, no questions asked. Electronically manipulated historicity static clung to the panning camera's pan, trying to jerk it backwards in time. No motion to the voices, but a multivalent, tumbling symbolism out of and toward view. And by this point, the game has expanded to 12 or more players. Simple photocopies, with no eye burning toward and out of no heart. For 1 player, yes, he has died, but the eye keeps making out the red desert ruins of a boneheaded chaos he can neither speed up nor slow down. Suspended in and made of a button, mashing a button to light the iris forward. There. Then, once all that had happened, he could start making camera placements again. Wrong lens. eating in the visual field. An old man lying in bed where the veins are. The think won't speak about, except in swallowing motions, which never come again. Against a backdrop of sunspots and unseeing eyes and planets, dewdrops, eyes and dewdrops, a creation of the MGM model shop to light the world for 2 players. And that's it for me. Oni Buchanan is coming up next.